This week on Another Brother.
Most athletic sport, track and field. Rugby. Hand-eye
That's skill.
hand-eye coordination. Okay, that is skill. Okay.
The weirdest, most extreme thing I'd ever seen.
Like from a cartoon, it was so exaggerated.
It was so
feeling.
cartoony. How did
Were
you end up going...
No.
And she wanted to go to sleep.
No.
And I said, no, you don't get to go to sleep. And I wanted to call an ambulance. And she was like, no. So,
YouTube.
yeah, we want to make sure everybody knows that we do have a YouTube channel. I guess if you listen to your podcast on YouTube, you might be listening to us on YouTube already. But we've got these new little shorts to give little teasers in the in-between weeks for what the next episode is going to be like. So,
Mash that like button.
and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. The channel name is Another Brother.
True. But, good point. If you want to find us more easily, search on YouTube for @AnotherBrotherPod.
No spaces.
No spaces.
@sign.
And then we should be the top result there.
Yep.
They're pretty fun. I like them.
Alex does a good job on those.
Hopefully you guys like them.
Alex made them for you.
I made this
For you. Jacob and I considered a different Stooner's topic.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I don't know if he mentioned it to you.
No? What?
Yeah, it's going, Dad. We're recording. Well, maybe we'll say it after we do. Want to do introductions?
Oh, yeah.
Introduce Dad first.
We do need to be also introducing ourselves every episode, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
This is Alex.
We've got to figure out a way to do this.
I know. I haven't even
Better
thought
not
about it.
awkwardly. Yeah, this is Josh. This is my voice. But again, #RedStewart.
Right.
Get your merch.
Yeah, he wants everyone to buy all the red stuff.
Get your Red Stewart merch. This is Jacob, and I love you even if you don't buy my merch.
And we've got our dad with us this time. We're on a little family vacation for Labor Day, though this isn't going to be coming out anywhere near Labor Day probably. So we've got our dad with us too.
Hello, everyone.
Yep. First time. Long time listener. First time. Today the father becomes a brother. Whoa. Right. Yeah. Well, then
You're
later,
starting to sound like that SNL thing I was just talking about.
it's just ironic because then later in life he's going to be the one in diapers and we're going to be older. So like we're in that
From
like
father
midpoint
to brother to baby.
to baby. Yeah.
You don't know that for sure.
I mean, I hope not. I don't want to be changing those. Sorry, Dad.
So you thought,
Okay,
of a
if I knew
different-
this was going to be the topic, I would
We
not
never
have
know until
joined
we sit
you.
down.
Exactly.
It's true.
I should have figured that out.
Yeah. Jacob had a good one.
Okay.
Do tell. I've already forgotten. Which one? Because there were a couple.
Oh, there's a couple.
Yeah.
The one that I remember is
This happened 10
it's an
minutes
opinion
ago.
piece, a Stooner's opinion piece.
Uh-huh.
What do you think is the most skilled sport?
Like what sport
The sport that
requires
requires
the highest level of skill?
Oh, wow. Good gracious. I would...
Because that's a fun
And conversely,
question for
which
Dad.
ones don't? Right off the top of my head, I don't think Australian breaking takes much skill.
Oh, gosh.
You mean breakdancing?
Yeah. Just for reference again, everyone, this is Labor Day. Olympics happened just a couple weeks ago. Y'all remember Ray Gun, I'm sure.
I didn't watch any of the breakdancing.
Just Google Ray Gun,
Okay.
breakdancer, and that'll do it for you.
She probably has lots of brain knowledge about it, but
She has a PhD.
didn't translate very
In
well.
breakdancing or dancing?
Culture.
in culture.
Breakdancing culture.
Oh, breakdancing culture specifically.
Yes. So knowing that going into
PhD
watching
in
her
that?
videos
Yeah.
makes it even worse.
She's a professor in it in Australia, apparently. Does traveling seminars and stuff.
Lots of theory, not a lot of practice.
Apparently.
I guess.
Her husband's her coach.
Oh,
I
he's
have
not
heard
much
whispers about all of this. Okay, well,
Wow, she's such a hot topic, she couldn't even avoid our podcast.
this is something I would need to think about, I think.
sticking with the Olympics, maybe one that simultaneously requires a lot of skill but also no skill at all, maybe, might be the airsoft pistol sport. Because again, you had the meme, you had the guys that have like all of the devices on.
Right. And then that Turkish, he was Turkish?
He was.
Yeah, the Turkish guy that's just like hand in his pocket, nothing on his eyes, just pow pow.
Just looks like your
He
average
has a
50-year-old
spectacles.
dad.
Yeah, some Turkish dad. And he got like bronze or something.
Yeah,
He
maybe
just
even
woke
silver.
up, showed up, and earned bronze. So I don't know. That might hit both. Require skill, but also
Right in the bullseye.
might not. Yeah.
Skill. I depends on what the definition of skill is.
I'm surprised Dad hasn't jumped right in because I
I'm
already know
waiting-
what he's going to say.
I'm waiting to hear what you guys think.
Well, there's team skill, I think, and then there's individual skill.
Yeah, for sure. I hadn't thought about it from that.
Well, teamwork in
perspective.
itself is a skill,
Yeah.
I think.
I don't even understand that.
That
What do you
teamwork
mean
as a
team
skill?
Yeah. So, like, there's the individual effort and the skills required by an individual, and then there's the team's
So like
ability to
so like some team
operate.
sports might depend more on individual skill than the teamwork of the team, or the skills of the team overall. Potentially, I guess is that what you're
Yeah.
thinking? Yeah. Like maybe there's a team sport where an individual could carry the whole team, but some team sports that you really need a solid team. Every member needs to be solid.
like rugby
Baseball.
versus NBA or baseball.
Well, I'll just say right now, the team that has most of the skilled player, each individual player being skilled, is going to win regardless of what the other team is like. There isn't one team that can be carried by one guy and beat a team that has absolutely
lineup.
skilled guys in every position.
If they know how to interoperate. You
No.
got those prima donna NBA teams where
Yeah,
you
well,
got like three big names and
Right.
big heads, and they don't
what
know
I'm
how to
saying
pass
is
the ball.
any of the teams they played didn't have top skilled players in every position.
Okay, what about when we lose,
So I don't get that concept.
when the U.S. loses basketball in the Olympics? Or, here we go, this is a good one for Dad, U.S. men's 4x1 track team.
They obviously weren't the best skilled, were they? Because they couldn't pass the baton.
But individually, they're the fastest in the world.
Right, so that's what we're
As a team,
Okay,
they couldn't connect.
but there's a difference between skill, I think, and athleticism to some degree. You can be perfectly the greatest athlete, and if you don't hone the skill, you won't be the best. And that's why this is a hard question for me to even answer, because golf,
There it is.
for example,
Waiting for it.
doesn't need the most athletic kinds of people. But for you to hone the golf skills, that takes a lot of work. And you have to have some level of athleticism to be able to do that. So I don't know that I can even answer this question. There isn't one that's more than the other.
But surely there's some that aren't at all.
The hardest skill in major sports to do is hit a baseball. In major team sports, that's the hardest skill to do.
It's not defend a goal during a shootout in hockey or soccer. I don't know what the stats are on those.
I don't have any
I
idea
understand
the
what
stats
batting
are on
averages
that,
are, but
just in eyeballing things as far as how they keep track of statistics. And when I say the main sports, I don't include soccer in that.
okay.
And
We have an international listener base here.
We won't go there either.
fan
I'm
base out
talking
there.
about, for example, if you hit a baseball safely, you get a base hit 1 out of 3 times, just 33%. You're a Hall of Famer.
That's wild.
You shoot a basketball at 33%, or you shoot free throws at 33%, or you complete a pass at 33%.
33% of your relay handoffs.
Yeah, you're not making it long in that sport, are you?
So I don't think there's one sport you can say has the most skilled athletes because it's
But empirically, statistically, you're saying the most skilled sport action is to hit a ball.
I think so.
Baseball.
And to hit a golf ball like the actual professionals can.
I know. I need to hit. I need to
And
take
there are
like 5
millions
swings
and
to get one
millions and
hit.
millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people out there that will definitely agree with that. That is an incredible skill that they develop.
Yeah, I hadn't considered it in terms of athleticism versus
So if
skill.
you were to say what sport has the most athletic players, maybe that's. But to say which one has the most skilled, I don't know how you even answer that.
requires the most skill at the professional level. I assume.
Yeah,
we're talking.
not the athletes in that pool specifically, but which sport just requires the highest level of skill to make it professionally.
Well, again, then I'm leaning more towards the hitting the ball with something.
Well, I found some interesting statistics.
Okay.
So this guy says that batting averages have hovered around .265 for the last 10 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
But penalty goal saves successes are at about 18.2%, or to use the same type of figures as baseball, 0.182.
Penalty goals in soccer.
In soccer.
PK kicks.
In soccer specifically, yeah. About 7.1% of penalty kicks are off target, and 18.2% are actually saved. So he broke down the 25.3% success rate for the defending team into how many goals are missed and how many are actually saved.
Now, is that just because soccer is an inferior sport and therefore the most skilled players are gravitating towards baseball?
Again, we've got a European audience here.
Well, yeah.
Global.
But it's an unanswerable question because if you're talking about, that requires specific skills to be a goalkeeper. Obviously, that's a very difficult thing to do. Is the goalkeeper the greatest athlete on the soccer team? I don't think most people would think that. But they develop specific skills as far as reaction, anticipation, whatever, that make them the best at that, even though it's a very difficult thing to do. So I don't know how you can even answer this question.
Well, maybe
Way to go, Jacob. Jeez.
Maybe we look economically. Who's the highest paid athletes generally? Because you'd expect they'd be paid based on their skill.
Yeah,
Tennis
but also the popularity of the
is
sport
up there.
itself.
True.
Baseball.
I mean, internationally, soccer athletes, I think, are some of the highest paid. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know on average, but I think the biggest.
I think
the biggest
LeBron
contract is Ono in Major League Baseball. He got one for like $600 million or whatever.
just recently.
How many?
Like $600 million.
Okay, but that's
something?
just his
Salary.
yeah,
Like
from the
5
team.
years or something.
That doesn't include endorsements.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about
sponsorships.
just his.
That's his contract.
I wouldn't include all of that
No,
stuff. 'Cause
agreed.
Oh,
Right,
right.
'cause
Well,
then it throws it off.
yeah, but again, different sports are going to be different because you have golf. They don't have a contract. They're not signed to a team,
Right.
Oh,
so their
Fair.
winnings and their sponsorships.
oh,
that's
shoot,
their
that
earnings.
throws things a bit, then, doesn't it?
Because
Unless
be the
we
same
can
thing
just
with
count out
tennis.
golf altogether.
Well, no,
Yeah,
because I
those
think
are better.
but
Take
you
some
can,
analysis,
you can. No, they don't sign a contract, but they get money for every tournament they enter.
Okay, then Floyd
So-
Mayweather, that dude.
I'll bet you he hasn't made $600 million in his life, has he?
I think so.
But that's an interesting take on it, too. Like,
Cumulatively, yeah. I mean, I think he
has
wins
to
like
earn his
100
money
million
by
in a
his
single
skill.
purse.
Right. He absolutely has to win it by his skill.
his skill is the only thing
100%,
that's getting
yeah.
him paid, really. Whereas, well, I guess that's not true, because like if you wanted to sign a contract with a team, you have to be a skilled player.
And the more...
But the
yeah.
money's not guaranteed for a boxer unless he wins, period.
Not
Again,
true.
aside from Conor McGregor didn't win, and he made a killing.
Sure.
Yeah, no,
the loser still
the loser gets a purse.
still gets a purse,
Yeah.
but not the bigger purse.
Which we should add that to our
Well,
next
that
masculine
depends on the contract.
conversation.
Okay, so
No.
what was the highest paid player that you said?
I think it was like $600 million, like
what's his
for
name?
10 years or whatever.
Oh, for 10 years?
Yeah. It's a Japanese guy. Ono.
Yeah.
Not Ono.
Ohtani.
No, Ohtani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made $67 million in 2024. But Cristiano Ronaldo, for a 1-year contract, $260 million. 1-year contract.
No,
That's
from
that's
his
just what I read
club.
on Google.
All right,
Let me make sure.
Man,
That's insane.
that is insane.
Yeah. estimated $260 million income in 2023.
Income, so that could include sponsorships and stuff.
Yes, it could.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so that, yeah.
Well, again, I just go back to I don't think you can use skill and athleticism as the same thing
Okay,
necessarily.
sure. Here we go. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
As of May 2022, Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s paycheck from his fight against Conor McGregor was the largest in boxing history, totaling $275 million for an exhibition match with Conor McGregor. Wasn't that an exhibition?
Just
that
an
was
exhibition.
a pro
Well,
card.
that's fine, but this was just one contract for Otani. He's had previous
again,
contracts
For a year, this was one night.
That was one bout.
I understand
Yeah.
that. And how many times has he done that?
I mean,
not every bout that he's had has been that.
Of course not.
No,
but
but I mean,
Otani's probably made over $1 billion now with the previous contracts that he's had,
yeah, same with
including
Mayweather.
this one.
Yeah. Ugh.
So no,
I should have gone into
will not
professional
determine
sports.
which has the most athletic. That does not determine which sport has the most athletic.
It could if we boil it down and look at the individual sport
Well-
and what's the spread of salaries and contracts across the sport,
No, hold on.
and then we reduce it across the sports
But then you'd have
industries.
to average it out because there's a whole lot more baseball players than there are basketball
Yeah,
players.
I'm
we
gonna
can get to a definitive answer.
And
No, I'm
a
gonna
whole
back
lot,
that
and
up
a whole
here.
lot more football players than anybody.
I'm going
This
to back
is gonna
that
be
up.
a totally solved mystery.
We're trying to use the market.
Yes, it is.
We're trying to use the market to justify who is the most skilled or athletic. But what does the market care about? The market cares about earning money.
Yeah.
Not who's the best.
but that's generally based on who's
Generally, but
helping
not
their
always.
team win.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
But it's still
True,
not
but
a
that-
perfect one-to-one correlation.
And that doesn't mean that sport is even the most skilled
At least it's
sport,
a data
even.
point.
It's a data point.
We're
yes.
being very subjective here, but that's a solid data point that we can get down to the bottom of. Kind of like completed at-bats and stuff.
Sure.
But I think we've decided that soccer is definitely not on the list.
Okay, sure.
And can we just get it out there? This has come up for some reason during this trip. Soccer, the word soccer was coined in England. Okay, everyone? Just take a little etymological study there. It wasn't a U.S. word. It came across the pond to us. For some reason, we latched on it, but we didn't coin the term soccer.
So in the
But we're still
English
too
language,
hard-headed to
it's soccer.
change at this point.
Where did it originate?
England.
Soccer
The
did?
sport
Yeah.
or
The word.
No, the word.
Yeah.
But also
No,
the
no, no,
sport,
I
too,
meant the
I think.
sport.
I think the sport, too.
Didn't rugby also come from England?
I don't know about that one, but I looked up soccer, and I'm pretty sure it was England.
Wow.
Well, then shouldn't they be able to
Oh,
call it
wait,
what
no,
it's
that was
correct?
ping pong. I was looking at ping pong.
Wait, ping pong is British?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, table tennis.
Huh.
British, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That's a very British name. I
There,
feel like.
yeah, there we go.
This does come from Google's AI overview,
Oh,
so
good, Gemini.
who knows how good it really is. But this says that soccer did come from England. And the sport soccer, but also the word.
Yeah.
In the 1880s, students at Oxford and Cambridge started calling soccer ass soccer to differentiate between association football, which is what soccer was called at that point in time in England, and rugby football, because rugby hadn't really been called just rugby yet. It was called rugger,
Yeah.
but also rugby football. So they
So
to
association.
differentiate them, it was ass soccer, short for association football. I don't know where the ocker came from, honestly, but
I think it was a suffix a prefix that they would just put on words. I can't quite remember.
well, eventually that got shortened down to just soccer.
But the rest of the world didn't latch onto that.
No,
They just
Yeah.
call it football.
yeah.
Interesting.
Even though no other countries use foot for foot or bowl for ball, they all call it football.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they couldn't easily translate the word soccer into
Because it didn't actually mean anything.
Yeah,
But
no,
again,
that
that
doesn't
is
work
football
terribly well
in their
in-
language.
in-
Which is
and football is easy to do.
Oh, you know what?
football.
Italy doesn't call it football; they call it calcio.
What?
What can that translate to?
Like,
Soccer?
like kicky.
That's what I would expect the Australians to call it. Let's go play some kiki.
I mean, they call breakfast brekkie, so why not call it kicky?
Okay, what about Chinese?
What?
What is it called?
It's football. Zucho.
But what would the
But
translation be like?
Football.
Like a literal translation
Yeah,
into
yeah.
Chinese.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zucho. Yeah.
Ah,
Football.
Okay.
Zucho sounds fine to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of now that we've distinguished skill from athleticism, most athletic sport,
Track and field.
Rugby. Hand-eye
That's skill.
hand-eye coordination. Okay, that is skill. Okay. Those guys are running up and down the field the whole freaking time. There's no resting. There's no break. There's no blood time. Or there's no, you get blood time at the end.
Blood time?
Like any sort of penalty time or whatever accumulates over the match and then
Stoppage time.
Yeah.
Right.
They're just running the whole freaking time. They're getting hit. They're getting beat up.
They don't wear pads.
There's no pads. They're launching each other into the air.
Well, what does athletic mean?
Fundamental.
I mean, you
Right,
could
so-
use guys in rugby that are big and strong and can run pretty fast, but they can't jump a lick, or they aren't that quick, really, and they could still be good rugby players.
But I think at the height of the sport, they are very fast. Like they have the
That's what I
The
said.
fast twitch,
fast, and big.
endurance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
Yeah, stamina
Maybe
was
the
going to be part of my
stamina.
definition
Maybe they can't
for athleticism.
jump. Like they can't. Their eye-ball coordination probably isn't much of anything. So, what is athleticism?
I don't know. You used it when
define
talking
it.
about skill. So I
Define
just
it.
went with it.
Well, he said the most skilled sport.
Right.
So, is it skill or I mean,
athleticism.
obviously, to develop certain bodily skills, you have to have, I guess, an athletic
I would say
ability. I don't know that they're interchangeable though.
raw. I don't know. When I
they're
think
not.
about athleticism,
What's raw
I think just
athleticism?
raw,
The
power,
building blocks of the
heart,
sport.
lungs.
Well,
So cardiovascular
Strength.
stamina.
back to the Olympics, they've determined this for everyone.
Decathlon.
Exactly.
The greatest athlete in the world.
He's
is
the greatest athlete in the world.
champion.
They've always said that.
That's skill. Okay,
And I stand by it.
That's
And
not. I
they
think
do
skill is something
everything.
learned. I
They
think
do-
skill is an
yeah.
attribute learned for a specific
Yes,
thing.
it is.
You don't learn how to. I was gonna say run fast. I mean, you
Well,
clearly
yeah.
do, but
you can
'cause you said
learn
most
to
skilled
run
athlete
faster
Right.
but
in the
you
world.
can
Is that what
be
you said?
Just fast.
right.
No, you said greatest.
Athletic.
But running isn't a
greatest
skill.
But who
Well,
what,
we
what,
didn't say
what,
that.
what,
No one
what
said it was.
sport what sport
Just the
does
greatest
everything
athlete in the world.
that a decathlete does?
Throw, jump,
Endurance.
hurdle, run,
There is
far
none.
and fast.
I don't think
Hurdle.
there is any.
But you
Well,
jump
think there's
high,
any
jump
what?
long.
I don't think there's any other sport that an athlete participates in that does everything that a decathlete does.
That matches the breadth of
what he
athletic
does
feats.
athletically.
Only because of the pole vault.
No, jumping high,
javelin?
jumping
No one's
long,
vaulting anywhere else.
throwing,
You're
running
throwing.
fast,
You're throwing weight.
yeah.
You're throwing just a thing that's freaking almost impossible to throw.
Yeah.
In my experience,
Jabs hard.
So they call it greatest athlete in the
You're
world.
running
I'd
fast.
say a lot of that
You're
stuff
running
is skill.
fast. You're running distance. You're running over things in hurdles. You're high jumping. You're jumping in two different ways. There's nothing else that does that. So
The decathlete and
the
heptathlete
decathlete is the greatest
athlete in the world.
sport that has.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, I have to
Requires
agree.
more skill. Dude, totally solved mystery. As a student segment, I
We
guess.
did it.
Yay.
And here I said I didn't think you could do that.
Yeah.
I forgot
been
about
decided.
that part.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greece.
Yeah.
It's time once again for Uncle in the Wild. Here we have a pack of Nieblings in the wild on what seems to be some sort of family outing. Let's see what they have to say for themselves.
Kaden, what's your favorite? What's your favorite sport? Basketball. Soccer. Yeah.
Why'd you have to pick such a hard one?
Just choose one, Kaden.
Henry, while he ponders his answer, why is basketball your favorite sport?
Because it's the first ever one that there's tons of that my friend that
most of my most of my friends play, so we can just all play it.
We seem to be missing an answer. James, what is your favorite sport?
Yeah. Soccer.
Why?
Soccer for me and Don too. Because it's just fun and it's not too rough.
Ah, a gentle creature.
Yeah.
And you, Gwen, why is what you call soccer your favorite sport?
Because I make a lot of new friends in soccer.
True.
And you get a bigger field the older you get and more positions. So that's why it's my favorite.
Now you, Don, why is soccer your favorite sport?
Because it is fun for me and I have 2 fields I can do already.
All right, Caden. Have you had enough time to think? What is your favorite sport?
Soccer. Because, 1, I'm able to run and get plenty of exercise. 2, soccer is one of the funnest outdoor activities I do.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Favorite Pokemon?
Pikachu. My favorite Pokemon is, well, it's hard to decide between Lillipup and the Eevee evolutions.
For me, it's Goomy and Lucario. What's yours?
Melmetal.
Melmetal for Caden.
Mewtwo. What's your favorite kind of cat? I don't really know. Cougar.
Cougar. I was gonna say cougar. I'm saying cougar.
Cheetah.
Cheetah. My favorite kind of cat is a Maine Coon. They're so fluffy and come in many different colors. Well, actually, my favorite cat is all cats.
Would you rather... What would be... Okay. Would you rather do, like, play a painful sport, but that you can get stuff? Or would you just rather do a not painful one that you don't get anything?
I'd rather do one for fun. And not get
fun.
Not painful. I don't really care about getting awards and stuff. I just want to play.
Yeah, not painful. What would you choose, Henry?
I said fun. Just to play for fun.
That was what I said. That was what all of us said. Yeah.
What is your favorite board game?
People put their hands in stuff.
I wasn't prepared for this.
Dude Perfect.
Dude Perfect has a board game.
Yeah, they made a board game.
Dude Perfect. Because it's fun and you can do kind of like sports, but you fling it into somewhere.
This is so hard.
My favorite board game is Panic.
Castle Panic.
Yeah. I don't really know what my favorite board game is. I've never thought about it.
Then, do you have a favorite kind of game in general?
Well, my favorite any kind of game. Pokemon Scarlet.
A video game, I see.
I've never thought about this.
Your favorite game, Henry?
I like Greed and Codenames. Greed, it's you can win out of nowhere. It's just luck. And code names, it's just fun because your other teammate has to guess it. I think guessing's pretty fun.
Probably greed. Yeah. It's a game of chance, and you need to know when to stop and not be greedy.
What about it being a game of chance agrees with you?
Because if you're doing really good, someone could just end up catching right up to you.
Yeah.
In a matter of a turn.
So you enjoy chaos?
Mm-hmm.
Caden really does love chaos.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you do. True. Very true.
Very, very, very true.
And there we have it. The wild Niebling. A more gentle creature than I was expecting. They are social creatures, which I must give them credit for. But they are still full of surprises, for they are extremely interested in chaos. I suppose the wild Niebling remains still a mystery.
Hey, kids, do you know what time it is?
Story time!
Okay, so I had two choices for a story for this one, and I asked Lizzie to pick one of the two. Because I had one at the top of my list, and I don't know why it was at the top of my list anymore. So, anyway, I'm going to tell a story about the worst first date I've ever been on.
Oh, yeah.
Ever. Going to be, well, I was going to say hard to top, but honestly, it's probably not that hard to top. But this was still pretty bad. So I had met this girl who was working in the film industry and was extremely busy because of it. They work crazy hours on films sometimes. And it took forever to get her to finally commit to a day and time to go on a date, which maybe should have been an indicator
first sign.
for me that I shouldn't be going on a date with her. But she kept insisting that she did want to go on a date, but couldn't figure out when. So anyway, we decided to go skating on, what's the name of that trail?
Bonneville Shoreline.
Nope.
Oh, it's not?
No, you can't go skating on Bonneville.
Oh, yeah,
Shoreline.
sorry. Yeah. Did you already skate on any trail?
It's a canal trail in Orem. The something canal trail in Orem. It's a really long trail, too. It's not just in Orem. You can take that trail all the way up to Alpine. It's at least 30 miles long.
Yeah.
Larissa, my wife, and I eventually wound up renting a tandem bike from Outdoors Unlimited and rode that all the way to Alpine on my birthday one year. That was really fun. And it was surprisingly easy to ride that far. Anyway, it was a paved path, the kind that may have once been train tracks. I'm not sure. Probably not, actually, now that I'm thinking about most of the trail. But a lot of it was right next to a canal. And Utah has a lot of old canals. That's just how they did their irrigation for all the farm work that they used to do. And a lot of them are still around. I guess they still kind of use them for irrigation.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. A lot of them.
If you're next to the canal, your property, you have water rights associated with the...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It was asphalt paved. Some of it was fairly new and smooth and nice. But it always had rocks, crushed rock, 1.5 inch minus for people in construction on the sides of the trail. And for some reason, that rock would always just be up on the trail here and there. Why do people have to do that? I don't know.
Kids.
So it wasn't perfectly smooth sailing. You did have to watch where your wheels were rolling sometimes. But
Oh, but you're skating. Oh,
I was on
rollerblading?
rollerblades.
Rollerblade skating.
Yeah, I was on
picturing
rollerblades.
ice skating.
Skates.
Oh,
Nice.
No.
okay.
But she was on a longboard because she was a longboarder.
Oh.
So we meet somewhere near the university campus, and then I drive us to where I like to start on the canal. It's just off of 800 North. I can't remember the crossroad. So we're skating. We make it to the first place where you have to cross the street. And then after you cross that street, you go up into the big cemetery in Orem. And that path, the path just follows along the south side of it between the cemetery and some kind of like soccer field type park. As you're leaving the cemetery, instead of crossing the street on that side of the cemetery, it goes under the road.
Oh.
And it's not super steep, but if you're not really comfortable on your skates or on your board, it can get you going pretty quick. So we were skating and everything was fine. And she pulled out in front of me. She wanted to go really fast down that hill for some reason. And I was maybe 20 yards back, I would say. And I saw the one thing that you never want to see someone on a board start to happen. The board starts to wobble. And that wobble just keeps getting worse and worse and worse until finally she somehow ended up flying up into the air instead of just falling down. She goes up into the air and comes down on her head, head first into the asphalt.
And you saw that whole thing happen.
I certainly did. And she was not wearing a helmet.
Oh,
I actually gave a short laugh out loud because it was just the weirdest, most extreme thing I'd ever seen.
Like from a cartoon, it was so exaggerated.
It was so
feeling.
cartoony. How did
there
you end up going?
like,
No. I didn't hear a thing that I can recall, but just she went up so high and then down head first, like she was intentionally diving. I thought it had to be on purpose. It was just so crazy. But then she wasn't moving at all, so I was like, oh crap. So I skated over there as quickly as I could. By the time I got there and was starting to help her get up, it was like she was just coming to. Like she had blacked out for all of that time. So once I got her up and finally saw her face, she had a giant goose egg on her forehead. Like huge. Like half of a baseball size. Which shocked me because I'd never seen anything like that before either. I don't know how the body makes that happen so quickly. So I immediately started checking her for concussions. I was checking her pupils. One was dilated much further than the other. Not a great sign. She was very out of it, very unable to tell me what was going on, where she was, what day it was. And she wanted to go to sleep. No. And I said, no, you don't get to go to sleep. And I wanted to call an ambulance. And she was like, no, I don't need an ambulance. I don't want an ambulance. I don't want to pay for an ambulance. And I was like, well, this is a first date. I don't want to stick her with an ambulance bill that she's telling me she doesn't want, but she could have a bleeding brain and I don't know what to do. So I eventually relented and walked her back to the car. And it took so much longer to walk than it took for us to skate.
Yeah, especially when she's. Oh, never mind. This is a sad story already.
Okay. So she had been skinned up on her hands and knees some, and that was stinging. But mostly it was just that she had a headache and wanted to go to sleep. But I said that I was taking her to the hospital, and she didn't even want me to take her to the hospital, just take her home. But on that one, I insisted that we go to the hospital. So in the car, I had to, again, do everything I could to keep her awake because she just wanted to go to sleep. And I can't remember what I ended up asking her. I was asking her as many questions as I could think of, like favorite holiday, something that would try to keep her talking for as long as possible. But eventually we got to the hospital, and some of that is kind of a blur still. I think I took her to the ER check-in type area, not just the regular front desk of the hospital or whatever. And they took one look at her and said, okay, yeah, we're gonna go get a doctor now. I think we ended up in a waiting room pretty dang quick. And the doctors eventually came in and said, okay, we need you to put on this gown, and we're going to do some either MRI or CT scans. I can't remember which they said. And she was too out of it to do that on her own, so I had to help her out of her clothes and into the gown too. And
they couldn't get a nurse to do that?
I mean, they didn't. I guess I could have said something, but she was just like, "Yep, you're gonna help me now." So like, okay, whatever.
Alrighty.
And yeah, she did have bleeding in the brain.
Oh, jeez.
And this particular doctor had seen a lot of longboarding accidents before. And so he came in with a lot of attitude about longboarding and longboarders and not using a helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was too out of it really to like really hear anything. So he was talking to me. I'm like, I didn't do this. I was on rollerblades. I have a brake on my rollerblades. I can stop whenever I want.
Those things don't have brakes?
Longboards?
Longboards?
No.
No. Yeah. So once he explained everything that was going to be necessary, that she was going to need some surgery and some other stuff, I had to ask her for her phone because I knew that she had family living in the area. So she gave me her phone, told me how to unlock it, called her parents.
Man, at least you could do that.
Yeah. I think. I don't remember anymore. I feel like I remember concern about how to unlock her phone at some point, but I don't remember the specifics anymore. Found her parents, called them. They lived in Salem, so it was like a half-hour drive for them to get to the hospital. And what happened next? I can't remember if they started prepping her for surgery and then took her into surgery before any of her family got there, and I just waited in that room. But either way, her family eventually showed up and just thanked me profusely for insisting that she go to the hospital and not just taking her home and letting her die. The doctor said that she would have died had she just gone home.
She would just fallen asleep
Yeah.
and been out.
And I think he said that eventually the pressure on her brain from the bleeding would have just caused her death in one way or another. I don't know the specifics, but they thanked me a whole bunch. And yeah, after talking with them for a little bit to give them as much detail and information as I could, I left. And I got...
Never got that second date.
No, we did not end up on a second date.
Man, what a waste.
But like I got at least a few text messages from two different family members thanking me again. One was her sister, and she was pushing really hard for me to marry her sister after that.
That's kind of weird.
She's in a vegetative state. She can't.
No, she was fine. You're right. I should have said that by now.
fully
She was absolutely fine after all of the surgery and everything. But yeah, she would not have been, apparently, if we hadn't gotten her to the hospital as quickly as we did. I never did ask him if I should have called an ambulance regardless of what she had said. I would have probably liked a little clarity on that if anything like this ever came up again on a date, which it never did, thankfully.
You just add it to your date disclosure documents. I authorize.
I need your signature or your initials here.
Here. Sign right here. Sign in. Thank you.
Is that a Big Bang influence there?
Yeah, they really wanted me to marry her. And I mean, I kind of tried to get a second date, but it was straight back to
Too difficult.
too busy.
to find
Too busy.
time. Yeah.
For the man who saved her life.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
You know she was.
I wasn't exactly trying to get another date. I think I would have been open to it, but I was trying to get her skateboard back because it was in my car.
Oh,
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, it took 2
my
weeks
gosh.
to get her skateboard back to her when she lives in the same smallish town that I do.
Yikes.
And I would have been open, I think, to another date if it only took a few days. But since it took 2 weeks, I was like, well, I think I'm just going to move on now. This was kind of weird experience.
I'm going to keep processing this one.
Yeah, definitely the
Here's
most
the longboard.
bizarre thing I've ever experienced.
Yikes.
yes, yeah. Describing it as worst date, that's kind of a whole different experience than what people think of as
a
a
bad
worst
date,
date.
right, yeah.
So it would take a lot to top that.
Yeah. You usually think it's going to be something semi-comical. But that was
I
just
mean,
straight
I'm
up
so
tragic.
kind of laughing.
That's not funny. Josh.
Some of it.
It was pretty... I don't know. Maybe part of me was just trying to handle the stress with
Yeah.
levity in my brain.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
that goose egg was like, holy crap, you look like a cartoon. Everything about this looked like a cartoon. How could this be real?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I didn't think it was possible for the human body to do something like that and look like that in real life, but
See, I also picture you like still on your rollerblades with her longboard under your arm.
Oh my
trying
gosh.
to walk her up
That
the
is
hill.
exactly that is exactly how it went, and I had to go up the hill slowly
Walking up the
on
hill
my
on the
rollerblades.
blades.
So I had to duck foot it
Oh,
up
yeah.
to walk my rollerblades up. Yeah, I forgot. I did not take off my skates to walk.
Ugh.
Maybe I should have. I had enough to be watching, just keeping her alive. I didn't need to be watching for rocks to trip on for myself either, but it was like a 15-minute walk back to the car
That's a pretty bad date.
when the road was just above us. And if I had called the ambulance, I guess there's no telling how fast the ambulance would have been. But anyway, yeah.
Wow.
I've never been on a date anywhere near that bad after that.
It kind of makes it easy after that.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be worse than that one time.
Sure. The worst thing that happened to me on a date with Larissa was just on our first date, we went to a restaurant in American Fork, and then she suggested we go see a play because she had some free tickets to a show at the Hale Center Theater in Orem. And so she said the Hale Center Theater, and I was pretty sure that meant in Orem. So I put Hale Center Theater directions into Google, and it wanted to take me to West Valley, Utah, because they had a newer Hale Center Theater out there.
Huh.
Orem was still closer. I don't know why it gave me directions to that one, but I started driving, and like 15 minutes into my drive or something like that, she texted me and said, "So are you almost here now?" Because it should have been like a 5-minute drive. I was like, am I supposed to be going to the one in Orem?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I had to turn around on the freeway really quick and head back down. And we almost missed that show because they're really strict about their curtain times and shutting people out.
Oh, yeah.
It was a close one. But nothing as bad as that other date.
Yeah.
I did make it. Yeah, we got to see the show. The end.
The end. At least the show wasn't boring enough that you got concussed from falling asleep.
No, it was a really good show, actually. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dang it, that's what I was going to do.
Oh, shoot. Do it. You're going to do it better.
Thank you
For being our brother.
Wow, did
That
we
might be
just
too
nail that?
energetic, though.
Okay. we'll take another run at it then.
Okay. For being our brother.
The first one was too energetic.
Gotcha. Production of this podcast is done by Alex Stewart.
With music by Jared Poff and Alex Stewart.
For show notes, rockin' merch, and other brother goodness, check out our website at anotherbrotherpodcast.com.
Be sure to come back next week.
And tell your friends so they too can become a
Brother over there.